Good morning. It is Friday. It's the 26th of April, 2K13. Thank you for being with us. This is WGTV Today. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Bess. Good morning and welcome to the show.
WGTV Today, Wayne Goldsboro Television Today, and that's what we're going to be telling you about today. Kim, our guest today...
That's right. Our guest today is Jessica Strickland from the Cooperative Extension. She is here to chat with us. I'm not going to tell you what it's about. You're going to have to hold tight and wait and see.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. It always is with Jessica.
Always is with Jessica. Also,
Kenny Carnes is going to be on the show. That's a special guest from right here in Goldsboro.
It is. Wait till you see this guy, and we just had so much fun.
We'll give him a hint. It's got a little bit to do with Relay for Life.
It's got a little bit to do with Relay for Life. It's got a lot to do with Kenny Carnes. Kenny is works at a part-time at a major retailer here in town, and he is a greeter.
That's right.
Okay, but he's also a competitor as well, and wait till you see how he competes. You're going to love this. All right, that's coming up this morning.
That's exactly right.
All right, it's Friday, all right. What's going on?
Well, do you have a trivia question for us this morning?
I do.
Can you tell us?
Yes, let's see here. Ah, yes. The category is Presidents of the United States. It's one of everyone's favorite categories. There have been 5 sets of presidents with the same last name, surnames.
Really?
5 surnames have been shared by U.S. presidents. There were 2 Adamses, John and John Quincy. There were 2 Bushes, right? There were 2 Harrisons, and there was 2 Roosevelts.
Okay.
All right, there was one more.
Smith?
President Smith. No, there was only one of those.
I know. Was there really just one? No. It's just such a common name. He thought, who knows?
That's a good guess, though. Anyway, we've got Adams and Bush and Roosevelt and Harrison and one more. There were 2 presidents, not related, who shared the same last name.
Not related. That's a key. That's a key.
Right. That's right. Bush, Adams, Roosevelt, Harrison, and one more. Who was it?
Have to wait and see.
Okay.
You're not going to tell us right now?
I'm not going to tell you right now. I'll tell you later.
That's right. We want to remind you, I've mentioned it several times, and it's getting close now. Today's the 26th. But on the last day of this month, the City of Goldsboro is starting an online contest, and we want you to participate.
Oh, boy.
Everybody is eligible. It's called What's in a Name? And What's in a Name?
I'd rather use by any other name.
What we're asking for is for you to help us come up with a motto or a slogan for the City of Goldsboro. The City of Goldsboro, something, something, something.
I like that.
You like that?
Something, something, something.
Well, we need a little more than that.
Oh, okay.
And you can, as of April 30th, you can go online to the City of Goldsboro, which is goldsboronc.gov. And right there on the home page, you'll see, all over the page, you'll see What's in a Name. Click on it. It'll take you to a page where you can submit as many as you would like, suggestions as to what you would think would be the best motto for the City of Goldsboro. We're going to narrow it down to 20. Once we get to 20, we will put them back online for you to vote and come up with the #1 winning motto or slogan for the City of Goldsboro.
Oh, boy.
And the prize packages are fantastic.
Wow.
The top 20 gets packages, the top 5 get packages, and then the winner gets a phenomenal prize package. Not going to tell you all those details till a little bit closer to the date, so hold tight. But plan on either submitting it online, or you can walk in the front door of City Hall, and right there in the doors where you go to pay your water bill, Miss Linda Braswell will be sitting right there, and she'll have the forms where you can fill out and hand right back to her as well.
The City of Goldsboro, the home of Linda Braswell. How about that?
How about the home of Wayne Alley?
Oh.
That's an idea.
That's an idea.
There's just a tip. 10 words maximum, and the shorter you can make it, the better it usually rolls off the tongue.
The City of Goldsboro.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, that's short and sweet.
So am I. Hey.
So look forward to it. Pay attention. Really, really, we want as many people to participate as possible. It's called What's in a Name? It's a contest for the City of Goldsboro.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's going to be.
That sounds like
I can't wait to tell you the prize packages, but I'm going to make you wait a little longer.
Oh, okay. All right, because I'm anxious to hear about the prize packages.
They are great.
Birthdays today.
Yes.
You ever heard of Bruce Lee? Well,
I think so.
He passed away. Yeah, hiya. Or as my cousin would say, hi, y'all. Jet Li, his son, is having a birthday.
Jet Li?
Jet is his son.
Like an airplane jet?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's 49 today. He also was a movie star, starring in several movies as well.
Wonderful.
Kevin James having a birthday today. You know him best as the King of Queens.
That's right. Love that show.
Yeah, it's a funny show.
It is funny.
Starring in a movie also with Will Smith in the movie Hitch. Kevin James, funny guy, 47. Good friend of Seinfeld.
Ray Romano.
Yeah, Ray Romano.
Ray Romano.
There you go. Also having a birthday today, we have Stana Katic, 34 years today, played Kate Beckett on NYPD. And Kate Beckett on the popular show Castle.
That's what I was thinking. I watch Kate all the time, and she's on Castle.
Exactly. Kate Beckett on Castle.
Which is a great show.
34. It is a good show.
I like it.
The very talented, legendary Carol Burnett having a birthday today.
Oh my gosh, we've talked about our favorite comedians before, and she is my one and only.
Really?
Always has been.
She is great.
Since I was a child, I've watched her.
79 today.
Gosh, it's hard
And
to
she's
believe.
still doing stuff.
She is. She's staying busy, and she's just absolutely still full of life and energy and jokes.
Yeah, really. Funny lady. One of my favorite entertainers, a guy by the name of Bobby Rydell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, he was great. He is 70 today. And can that man sing? I Am Pei is 95. He's a Chinese-American architect. Very talented. Michael Damian. You ever heard of that guy? He's a singer and recording artist, but he was also Danny Romalotti on the TV show
Young and the Restless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also,
watched Danny for years.
that's it. Danny Romalotti and his sister Cricket.
Now, on the show, Cricket was his wife.
His wife, that's right.
Not his girlfriend. I mean, not his
Who was
sister.
his sister. Anyway, she owned a restaurant or something. Anyway.
Don't know.
Anyway, that's birthdays for today. And if you're having a birthday, you're sharing it with all those people.
Happy
And a
birthday.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
Well, Wayne, are you looking for somewhere for your children, not you, but your children to go this summer and do and have fun activities?
You know, I was just thinking about that.
Were you?
I was.
Well, let me help you out.
Thank you.
The Goldsboro Family Way
There you go.
has a long list of camps for this summer, but you need to call them and get registered.
Yeah.
Now, there's quite a few places in Goldsboro that do have camps.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to tell you about all of them, but the Goldsboro Family Y has come on and talked to us several times about what options they have. And my goodness, I mean, it's kinder camp, so that's for your young children, like 5 and 6,
Yeah, just send your kinders over there.
and go to camp.
And, yeah.
They have outdoor camp. That would be fun. I mean, they're going to be doing all kinds of things from backpacking to canoeing, hiking, learning about navigating through the woods, and fun things if you're an outdoorsy kind of person.
Yes.
Sports camp, British soccer camps. My son did that as a child and loved it. Yep, so the list goes on and on, but contact the Goldsboro Family Y if you're interested in getting your child registered for something fun to do this summer and keep
There
them
you go.
active.
Yeah, there you go. Well, if you enjoy growing things, and almost everyone does, you could go to a workshop here about how to grow tomatoes. That's coming up on May 11th. It's a free workshop. It doesn't cost anything either. This is at the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service in the kitchen there on Chestnut Street, corner George and Chestnut. May 11th, and our buddy Jessica Strickland will be the teacher and holding this workshop, how to grow your own tomatoes in your own yard or your own garden. All right, that's coming up May 11th, and you can call Jessica or call the Cooperative Extension Service at 731-1525 and get information about that, 731-1525, and again, it is free.
Sure is.
Oh, boy.
Now, if you just don't have a green thumb and you just don't have the time to grow your own tomatoes, where can you go to find freshest, wonderful, local produce? Where might that be, Wayne?
Where?
You can go to the local farmers market.
Well, yeah, I knew that.
Of course you did. That's right there at Herman Park. It's in the parking lot on the Herman Street side over by the tennis courts.
Oh, yeah.
And this year I have been amazed, it's every Wednesday, but I've been amazed at what all they've added at the farmers market.
Well, what are they adding?
I mean, they've always had great local produce.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, your tomatoes, your squash, your cabbage that you picked the leaf off and ate right there. I mean, the list goes on and on what they offer, but this year they've got pork skins. Go figure. Plain and barbecue.
You mean there's pork running around with no skin on it here?
He's not running around, he's in a bag.
Oh, okay, that's all right then.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
They had fresh banana nut bread and pumpkin bread.
Ooh.
Oh man, it's making me hungry just thinking about it.
I know.
Jewelry.
I never ate jewelry.
Well, me neither, but it's for sale there. Handmade jewelry. So it's really almost turning into like a little craft area.
Oh, really?
Produce and crafts.
Nice.
But Mark Wilson interviewed him not too long ago, and it aired here on the show.
I saw that.
But it's every Wednesday. Go check it out for yourself. I mean, we want to support our local farmers. That's the backbone of Eastern North Carolina.
That is so important. You are so right about that.
Agriculture is important. We want to support our farmers. So go out and see what they've got to offer. There's nothing better than taking fresh produce home, cooking it for dinner. Your family will appreciate it and love you for it.
And what day?
Every Wednesday. It starts at 9 in the morning and it lasts until 6 or 7 in the afternoon. I'm not sure. I think they're saying dusk. But every Wednesday.
Okay.
Go check it out.
Support your local farmers. Now, I do. I love going to farmers markets and things like that, the roadside stands. Oh, yeah, trivia question.
You got a trivia question for us this
I do
morning?
have a trivia question for today.
No, let's see what it is.
What is the only number?
Yes?
Yes. The only number that has its letters of its name in alphabetical order. The only number that has its letters in alphabetical order. For instance, if you said 1, well, that's O-N-E, and that's not alphabetical sequence.
No, it's not.
All right, what is the only number whose letters are in alphabetical order? And here's a hint. It's between 1 and 100.
Oh, well, thank you for narrowing that
All right,
down.
well, now he's okay, well, it could have been a gazillion. But here's another hint.
Yes?
It's divisible by 10. I probably just gave it away. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We're not going to tell.
Okay, well,
I'm not going to say.
Well,
I'm not going
between
to say
1
right
and
now.
100, there can only be a certain number.
That's right.
So you can figure it out. Write it down.
Write it down. Let's see if you're right when we come
in
back.
alphabetical order.
That's
only
right.
one.
Okay. We believe you.
I'm so glad. Nobody else. Okay,
Well, let's
anyway.
go see what Jessica has to say.
do that.
Jessica Strickland from Wayne County Cooperative Extension up next.
And Kenny.
And that's right, we're going
And
straight
Kenny
on to
Carnes.
Kenny Carnes.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Today we're here with Jessica Strickland as the guest of Daniel Casey's Garden Center on Highway 70 West in Goldsboro. We're here, Jessica. We're talking about, first of all, we're going to talk about potted plants,
Right.
and potted gardens and that sort of thing. Now, what makes a good potted plant?
For the potted plant, you want to select plants that look healthy, that no sign of pests or insects or any kind of bugs and so forth. And a lot of times when you get into container gardening and so forth, you're looking at display. So you're looking for flowers. You consider is it full sun or shade, those types of things when you start selecting the plant.
Take all those things into consideration.
Yes.
So you can get container plant or container flowers to grow indoors or outdoors.
Yes, you can.
But
yes.
they don't work in both places most of the time.
That's right. Yeah, usually your indoor plants, if they're in containers, potted plants, you can bring them out during the summer, but you're always going to be having to find a place to put them for the winter and for the colder temperatures.
So give me an example or two of a good potted plant, something that's easy to grow.
For a lot of potted plants, when we're looking at, for container gardens, a lot of people use petunias, especially like your wave petunias, because they drape over the sides and they spread out. Also, you're looking for, geraniums and patience. Some of those are popular ones for container gardening a lot of times.
All right, and where do you start? How do you select? Do you select the biggest plant you can find? Do you find the smallest you can find and let it grow, or where do you start?
It really depends. If you want an immediate display, then you're looking for the larger plants. If you're looking at it filling in and so forth over time, looking at its best, then you're probably picking some that are smaller and that'll fill in.
So the smaller plants are, of course, going to be less expensive. So
That's
you could start with a smaller plant and let it grow.
Oh yeah, you could, and some people do that and they kind of put it away where it's not really on display, and then they bring it out when it looks its best.
Right. Okay. So what? Give me an example of an easy to grow plant with a container plant, as far as flowers or blooming flowers go. Would you say roses make good container plants?
You can use roses as container plants. A lot of people sometimes use the mini roses because they're smaller, but you can use some of those mini roses in containers.
All right, and as far as others that might be available, flowering plants, I guess what grows well in pots this time of year in containers?
This time of year, you're getting into a lot of your annuals that grow well. Going back to geraniums, petunias, and patience are your popular ones. Verbena is another one.
Verbena,
yeah, we see a
that's
whole
nice.
lot. Coleus is one
Coleus
that we see a lot of
yeah.
too.
A lot of. Usually the annuals will be more colorful.
That's right.
As a rule.
That's right.
Not always, but most of the time they have more color. The annuals do, and an annual is a plant that grows and then dies within that year.
Yes, it only lasts 1 year, and then some of them do produce seed and release seed, and then others don't. And but it's something you usually buy every year. And a lot of times it's your pop of color in the landscape that you're looking for the annuals.
And these would they look great on decks and on patios, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you know, steps and so forth. A lot of people, and you can't even add containers within your landscape. So where some have them where there's looks like they're spilling over and so forth. I've even seen people where if the pot breaks, they lean it over where the broken parts at the bottom, and it looks like the plants are spilling out of it and have that in their landscape.
Oh, that's really, so you can do, there's no hard and fast rule. You can do anything.
And there's so many containers to pick from and to select from, and you can make up your own containers. A lot of people buy, you know, baskets and things, you know, at yard sales and antique stores, and they make up their own container.
I've seen people with old broken down wheelbarrows and flowers growing out of them. I saw a fellow one time who took an old shoe, filled it full of dirt, and put a plant in there.
Right. It's the possibilities are, you know,
endless. You can do anything.
Yes.
I remember seeing years ago, we don't see it so much now because it's probably not healthy, but old tires. People would take old tires and put them out in the yard, throw dirt in them, and paint the tire white.
Yeah, and if you start looking, you know, on the internet somewhere, you'll see all types of examples of containers. And another thing is you can buy, you know, even baskets and, you know, so forth, and you can spray paint it and make it the color you want and change the color and so forth. So there's lots of possibilities with containers.
An old rusty watering can. It puts, knock some holes in the bottom and put dirt in it. Right.
Yes.
Anything.
That's right.
All right. Very good. All right. So we're talking petunias, we're talking coleus, we're looking at just annuals in general.
Right.
All right, what about shrubbery? Generally, shrubbery will end up in the yard somewhere, but it can start out as a potted plant, can it not?
You can start out some shrubs as in the container. There are some smaller, like conifers and things, that sometimes we leave in a container for kind of the taller focal point of a container garden. But a lot of times, most shrubs usually end up, you know, putting them in the ground because a lot of them need their space to grow. There's some miniature kinds you can leave in containers.
If you leave them in the container, what happens to the roots?
A lot of times the roots, if it runs out of space, they're going to start going around the inside of the container, and they're kind of girdling the roots is what's happening. And if you don't break that up before you put it in the ground, then it's going to continue growing because that's all it knows is to grow in that circle. So it's important that if you do see some of that where it's root bound, is to break that up a little bit before you put it in the ground. And you're not harming the roots. Some people feel like they're hurting the roots, but you need to do that to prevent, to keep those roots, encourage them to grow outward.
Now, when you take a potted shrub out of the pot, should you score that dirt ball?
You should, yes.
All right, break up that dirt ball a little bit.
And you're not hurting it by breaking it up. If the roots are really root bound, you can take just a knife or something and cut, you know, slits on each side of it, and then really just use your fingers just to loosen that up before you put it in the ground.
All right, so does it hurt the root system to break away some of those old big roots?
It does. It's going to help it more in the long run. Yes.
All right, very good. Well, there you go. Container plants. What about vegetables?
Vegetables you can grow in containers also. A lot of people grow tomatoes, especially in containers. There's the one with the bags, and you know, they're upside down and so forth.
What's that all about?
And, so you can, you know, as vegetables, you have no problem growing them in containers.
Now, all right. So, do those work? Do those upside down tomato plants work?
Just the same thing as if it was in the ground or in a different container. Is you got to make sure you get full sun for vegetables, and you got to make sure that they're getting a consistent amount of water. You know, if they get some water and then you let it go dry for a while, that inconsistency is what causes it not to have good fruit production.
Okay. And they dry out quickly in that upside down.
So you really have to keep up with the water.
Yeah, lots of water in the containers. All right, so tomatoes and I guess you can grow just about anything.
You really can. You know, I've seen even people grow potatoes, but you got to have a big enough container to allow the potatoes to grow underneath. But it's, you know, there's a lot of possibilities. Herbs are something really popular to grow in containers, so that way it's next to your, you know, door where if you're cooking, you can go grab some herbs real quick and put in your dishes.
I once had some luck growing okra in a container, and there's just about anything you can grow in containers. All right. Jessica Strickland says, go ahead, and there's no hard and fast rule. Go ahead and find a good container and start growing things in that good container. All right?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Talking with Jessica Strickland, our agent with the Cooperative Extension Service, our horticulture agent with the Cooperative Extension, on a very chilly late April day.
Yes.
What's going on with this weather? Can you believe this?
It's a little cold snap.
Yes, I tell you what.
Or like you used to hear, dogwood winters, dogwoods are blooming.
Yeah.
It must be that little cold snap. All the dogwoods are blooming, but it is chilly.
It is chilly and it's windy right now in late April. So anyway, we're going to talk right now. This is a great time though to be looking at shrubs, picking out shrubs. Is this the best time of the year to plant them, or usually second best?
Usually it's second best. Usually the best time for our area is to plant them in the fall, because it's mild enough that we can let the roots get established, but we're not running into a drought or, you know, the hot summer heat. So really the fall is the best time, but, you know, the second choice would be springtime. We want to avoid planting in the middle of summer, planting shrubs, because then you're really trying to water. You're really trying just to keep it alive during our hot temperatures and humidity in the summertime.
So it's best to go ahead and you can pick out or make a plan in the spring and the summer, and then in the fall go ahead and pick them out and plant them.
You can.
All right, so let's say we're working on a plan to make a shrub, plant some shrubs in our yard or in our near our garden.
Yes.
And let's talk about sizes and where to place these shrubs. Now, how important is size? I guess it's pretty important.
Size is really important. That's probably the biggest mistake that happens in the landscape, is that people get it, it's small, it looks like, you know, it's pretty, you know, the size it is, and then they take it home and within several years it gets too big for where they placed it. You really need to consider the mature size of the plant before you ever put it in the ground. You know, especially, you know, how close it is to the house or power lines, or if it's under the eaves of the house or in front of a window. Eventually it can get to where it overgrows, and what we want to encourage is that we let it grow to its natural size and stay, you know, the shape it is, its natural shape. But this is where a lot of people come in and try to prune to try to control the size, and it ends up, you create a lot of work for yourself.
Well, we don't want to create any more work than we already have, right? Okay, so how do you determine what the mature size of the plant's going to be? Because when you purchase shrubs, they're small and they're in a container, and so how do you decide how big they're going to be?
One of the easiest ways is, most of the time in garden centers you're going to have the tag or some tag on there that says the mature size. It might say that it's 3 feet by 3 feet or 4 feet by 5 feet, so forth, and it's going to give you the mature size as far as the width and the height of the plant. So pay attention to the tags and look closely. If it's not there, you know, ask, or if you're interested in a plant, then, you know, look it up before you go to the garden center and kind of do some of your homework before you get there. Look at the plants you're thinking about, and but a lot of times you can find it pretty easily, and that way then you know what the size is going to be, and you can kind of then decide, is it going to work in the space you're looking at. You know, looking 4 or 5 years down the road.
I know there's several nurseries in the area. We're here at Daniel Casey's Garden Center today. There's also Long's Plant Farm. There's several others around.
There's
really good. Really good nurseries where you can find good shrubs and everything. But and they will not sell you something that's not indigenous to this area. They're not going to sell you a plant that's not going to grow here.
Right. Yeah, and that's where you check your hardiness zones. If you're looking at plants and you're not familiar with them, we want to check the hardiness zones to make sure it's suitable for this area, and that it's not something. Usually this is where you have to be careful with where you're looking at catalogs, because the catalog, if it comes from farther north than we are, it could be that it's only you know, adapted for that zone, colder climates, and not for ours. Or if it's from Florida, it might be that our climates are too cold for us. So we do want to watch hardiness zones, but usually that's more with catalogs when you're looking at purchasing through a catalog. If you're going to your local garden centers, then most of the plants that they're selling, are suitable for this area.
So be careful when you're buying from a catalog or online.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
And also want to keep in mind that if you have questions, it's easier to talk to a person, a local grower who's growing these or knows how they grow best in this area.
Yes. And a lot of times we have the question of people want to just ask, what kind of shrub, works best. And there's so many choices. It's hard to say. It comes down a lot of times to personal preference. But that's the way I would kind of start narrowing it down. And we've got, listings of shrubs for different sizes at our extension office that are suitable for this area. Look at the mature size. Look at is it sun or shade. So that way, if you're sight sun, you want to avoid all your shade loving.
And what about color as well? That plays a big role.
Color is important, and you can find ways to have contrast with, if it's got more purple leaves or a brighter lime color leaf. You can have a lot with color without having any flowers on it. You still have a lot of color and texture. Even is another one that is to think about, because some have larger leaves, some have smaller, and they give different appearances in the landscape.
Yeah, I like when I'm out riding around, I like to look at what other people have done.
Yes.
Particularly some of the businesses in the area, what they've done to improve the looks of their yards and their areas. And I take those ideas, kind of keep those in mind about, is this what I would like for my house?
Right.
But you don't want a shrub that's going to outgrow its look. You don't want it to be too big. You don't want to put it right in front of a window.
Yeah, because we would rather not have to prune them, except just kind of cleaning up a little bit. But to have to do drastic pruning, you would rather pick the right plant for the right spot and not have to do that drastic pruning.
Now I know in your office you have all kinds of lists and suggestions, and they're separated by color, by size, by how long it takes to get to full maturity. Just a little bit of everything there. Yes. So they could come by your office and pick up these lists.
Yes, they can.
All right. Also, they could go online to ncsu.edu.
With the cooperative extension, it's ces.ncsu.edu.
There you go. ces.ncsu, NC State University, .edu.
Yes.
All right, that's a great place to start. Now, you may not know what you want, but you can go to that location, and there's pictures and suggestions.
And we can help, you can call the extension office and we can help direct you to those websites if you want to look, because there's a lot of websites there connected through the extension service in NC State that can help you with kind of narrowing down the choices and so forth if you're looking at trying to decide what plants you want in the landscape.
Right. And again, I'll ask you, is it better to start with a small box or container, or start with something half grown?
It just depends. It's really down to a personal preference. Of course, if you get a larger plant, you're paying more for it, but you're going to get it more of the mature size, closer to the size you want it to be at. And some people would prefer to go ahead and pay that to get it looking the way it's supposed to be looking. Some people would rather go with just getting a smaller plant and then letting it grow to its mature size.
You had mentioned hardiness zone a little while ago. What zone are we in here in Wayne County?
Wayne County's in an 8A.
8A.
Yes.
Hardiness zone.
Yes.
That means 8A means that it refers to the hardiness of the plants.
That's right.
And how well it will do in this area during bad weather.
Yes.
How hardy is it?
That's right.
All right. Jessica Strickland of the Cooperative Extension Service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Driving along the back roads of Wayne County, there's a chance you might just run up on a contraption you find a bit, well, unusual. A piece of machinery you just don't see every day on the highways and byways. That is, unless you happen to know Kenny Carnes. Now, folks around northern Wayne County have grown accustomed to seeing Kenny and his unique mode of non-motorized transportation.
This is the only sport that's called hand cycle or hand crank division, they call it. And it's the only disabled sport that allows the able-bodied to participate in. So if you chose, you could race with me. It's, you know, this guy that does this, though, that does participate, that's able-bodied, he's the more or less the inventor of the high-tech hand cycle and out of Florida, and he's amazing. He's almost third in the world. Wow. This is kind of new to me. I've been doing this really since 2003. I did the conventional, it's called a push ring racer. And that's where you push it like a regular race, everyday chair, except it's a smaller push ring, and it's three-wheel design, and you kind of lay down in it the other way. Your feet are up underneath of you. But this is a new sport for us older guys.
Kenny thinks nothing of zipping through the countryside on his hand cycle. After all, he's ridden over 120,000 miles in the past 23 years. And he's competed in 375 marathons around the world. After an accident paralyzed him at the age of 18, Kenny said it took him almost 12 years to come to grips with his disability. But it's been said that if one dream should fall and break into 1,000 pieces, never be afraid to pick up one of those pieces and begin again. And that's exactly what Kenny Carnes did.
I broke my back in 1974 on Easter Sunday, April 14th, racing motorcycle semi-professionally, motocross. And my own bike landed on top of me and broke me in half, and I'm paraplegic. 39 years. I've had my moments. It took me about 12 years to accept it, and I was constantly at war with it. I just couldn't come to grips with it, and then my life was kind of in turmoil. And I had a good friend that became a recreational therapist and physical therapist with the hospital in Washington, D.C., NRH, and she talked me into doing a wheelchair race in 1987 in September, the end of September, the 25th. And once I did that race, even though I took dead last, there was the spark in me. That was the void of my life, was competition. And then they asked me if I wanted to be in the Marine Corps Marathon, and I said, why not? And I ended up, I think, 12th place in 3 hours, and then the next year I won the thing, and then in the following year I set the course record, never to be broke.
Perseverance is not a long race. It is many short races, one after another. After finding his love of racing, Kenny continued to pedal, powering his newfound dream.
Technology at that time was rapidly changing, and it went from 4 wheels to 3 wheels, and then a short wheelbase to open wheelbase, whatever you wanted. And I happened to be on the ground roots of it all, and it was an exciting time for wheelchair racing, because in 1 year in 1988 I did 72 races. Me, my mother and father were both athletic, and they're senior Olympians, and they did 45 races with me in the metropolitan D.C. area, and Maryland, Washington, Virginia. Yeah. And it was a good time. And my very first experience out of the country was this Achilles Roadrunner group invited me to do a race in Warsaw, Poland, a 62-mile race in October '88. And I said, is this some kind of joke? You know, I said, Warsaw, Pennsylvania? And they said, no, really, Warsaw, Poland, you know. And I took second in that race, and they invited me back the next year, and I won the race, and I set a world record in it in 4 hours and 32 minutes, and that was in '89. And then I went again to, then I went on to Russia from there, and I won the marathon, the Moscow Marathon, and then I went again to both of those places in 90 and 91, and that was an exciting time to go to that. And I went to the Olympics in Barcelona, Spain in 1992, and the Paralympics, which is the disabled Olympics, not the real Olympics, but it's in the same venue. And unfortunately, in the biggest stage, I laid the biggest egg, and it's very disappointing for me, because I went in pretty much #1 in the world, and I just peaked too early, and I couldn't get out of my own way, and it was a shame, and I'll live to regret it, but that's just the way it was. I made the 2000 the team to Australia, but I always had a nemesis race. It was a 362-mile race from Fairbanks to Anchorage. It was 42 miles a day for 9 days. And I'd taken a 5th in 1997, I took a 3rd in 96, and I took a 2nd in 98 and 99, and it was just the monkey on my back, if you want to call it that. And I wanted the oldest guy ever to win it in 2000, and I virtually retired after that. That race can either make you or break you, and it broke me, and that was it. It was the only race really that I had in my personal little inventory that I wanted to win.
Though Kenny doesn't view himself as unusual or as a role model, he has spoken to groups and encouraged others along his journey.
Yes, I have. I've gone to elementary schools and junior highs and high schools, and even I was a motivational guest speaker for IBM and the campaign, United Campaign. And I went to 5 cities. I went to San Diego, Chicago, Houston. We got a problem, NASA, and I even went to the CIA, and that was pretty incredible. And then it ended up at the Xerox company in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And of course, my home roots were in Maryland, so I did a lot of speaking there. And I've done several speakings around here, but I've kind of more or less died down and left it to the younger crowd. And I've been even called prima donna, and that kind of hurt my feelings. So I just kind of, you know, I've pushed hard, and I just try to be out and about, and it's nothing to be admired about. It's just something that it's nothing to feel sorry for me about. We're all conflicted with hardship, I think, in different ways, and it's how you deal with it. And of course, you know, you can be on your own pity pot and cry about it or move on. And I've had my moments, trust me, but I've kind of decided to move on, and it's wasted energy to cry about it. Well, I think the biggest thing is to turn to other people. You know, when I first got hurt, I didn't want to be associated to people in wheelchairs. I felt like it was something, I wanted to just be around able-bodied people. But I found my strength when I got around other wheelchair people or disabled people, and then we could share our own past problems, and it would just seem to open my competition. Really broadened my horizon, and it gave you that camaraderie ship. And maybe you just, let's say you were even born with a disability, and this was your only thing, was the outlet was to compete, and then you were able to everybody seems to have found their niche when they got into sport or competition. It's a wide variety of sport that you can participate in. If you can't race, you can shoot archery, you can shoot shotguns, you can swim, you can basketball, tennis, swimming. It's anything. It's just the camaraderie ship. But I think with other disabled, don't run from it. Jump right into it, and don't be ashamed of it. And people ask you questions, stop and they're just curious, and they want to know, and they will never know if you just don't tell them, or their parents say, come away, you know, don't bother him. And I just, if you ask me, I'll tell you what it's like. Yes, sir, I already entered again in the Marine Corps Marathon, and this is the 39th anniversary of it, and the 40th anniversary, I'm sure that'll be a Hall of Fame reunion. So I couldn't make the 35th. I was injured at that time, and I broke my thumb and my leg, so I couldn't go to that one. But I'm excited about doing that race, and it's expensive now to travel and to race this thing all over, and I'm not that good anymore, and it's hard to admit that, but it's also the truth. And the Marine Corps Marathon is the people's race, and anybody virtually, if you make the lottery, you can get in. And virtually, being a Hall of Fame recipient, I got an invite. But with that said, it's a hard race, and I did it last year in 1 hour and 40 minutes, and the winning runner did it in 1 hour and 23, and it was murder. And they were flying, and it was just unbelievable. If I would have been top 10 if it was a 23-mile race, but I died at 23 instead of 26.2.
He doesn't compete as much as he used to, but he's turned his energy toward fundraising and participating in Relay for Life. The hand cycle he uses today came from his training partner for 20 years, a man who died from pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I work for Rosewood, Walmart in Rosewood, store number 4564, and that's where you met me. You see me on the road, and I actually talked to you before on the radio years ago. But I'm really excited because last year they asked me to be part of their team. It's called the Walmart Warriors, Team 83. My mother is a suffering cancer survivor and recovering cancer survivor, and they asked me to. They're a huge supporter of the Cancer Relay for Life, and I'm really excited about being a participant of it. And with that said, I'm doing 20 miles with them and as a fundraiser, and it's an experience for me to showcase the chair and also to raise money for the Relay for Life. And it's been difficult because of the fact being individually it's been hard, but it seems like everybody knows somebody that's been touched with cancer, and a family member or a friend or whatever it be. And so it's going to be a bigger picture with more firehouses, fundraising, and it's just been harder individually, but in the big picture it's going to be good. And with Walmart, it's just been real exciting because they're going to be even a bigger sponsor this year, and it's just going to be a good opportunity for us all for the cause. Well, you'll be able to see me working at Walmart and just pushing around on the streets of Goldsboro and Wayne County.
So if you spot Kenny cycling on our county roads, slow down and acknowledge the marathon winner. For when circumstances told Kenny to give up, he listened instead to hope whispering, "You can do it."
And we're back. Wayne Goldsboro Television. Remember, this is a partnership between the city of Goldsboro and the county of Wayne.
And wow, what do you think about Kenny Carnes? Now you know what a hand cycle is, you know?
That's right.
What an amazing guy, and he is a competitor of the greatest degree. He's quite a nice guy, too.
Absolutely.
That was a lot of fun. Okay, and of course, Jessica.
Yes.
So much knowledge.
She does a great job.
She does do a great job.
And tell us about our soil. What grows best here? Give us a lot of info on that, okay?
In the northern part of the Wayne County, we have a little bit of clay, but most of Wayne County is a sandy loam, and azaleas grow well here. Anything that in that family.
Will you ask her a question for me?
Sure.
Hydrangeas. Now, I have a hydrangea bush, so ask her this for me.
Okay.
I've heard you can change, and I don't know how to do this, but you can change the pH in your soil, and it makes the color of the hydrangeas change.
It's true.
Well, mine are light blue. Okay, I'm tired of that. I need pink now. I want pink or purple.
Okay.
So ask her that for me and come back and let me know.
I will have an answer for you.
Thank you so very much.
There is a way to make that happen.
I heard there was. I saw it in Southern Living magazine, actually. But I want to see what Jessica's got to say.
Okay.
See if she can give me a simple solution.
Oh, yeah, she will.
I
will
she
ask
will.
you that. We'll have an answer for you.
All right. We also might go out to Stony Creek Park soon, and let's take a look at what the master gardeners have done. There's a butterfly garden out there that they developed along with Goldsboro Parks and Recs way back when we first started Stony Creek Park.
Yeah.
And it is in bloom, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And we want to maybe go out and talk to them about why they chose certain plants to be in the butterfly garden.
Okay.
Those that attract butterflies.
Yeah, like the butterfly bush.
That's right.
Right.
And other things. We'll go out and visit maybe sometime soon.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. That's a great idea.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Take Jessica with us.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, she can give us all kind of pointers.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, she can do that.
Oh, don't forget, we've talked about it before. I want to remind you, if you're interested, if you like music, David Holt will be at the Paramount Theater Saturday, May 4th.
Yeah.
It's a tribute to Doc Watson, and you know more about it, Wayne, than I do because you know him personally.
Well, I don't know him personally, but I know of him, and he is just a fantastic entertainer. He is. He constantly puts on one-person shows around the entire country. He's an extremely talented individual, and a very talented picker and grinner, as I like to call it. But he plays a lot of different stringed instruments: banjo, fiddle, guitar of all kinds. But he's just a great entertainer, and people love his concerts because he's just so good. He's talented, and he loves the heritage of music.
That's
he
what I've
loves
heard.
the mountain music. He loves the country music. He loves the hillbilly music, as they say. So and he's quite the teacher. He loves to talk to young people about the history of music and what makes good music good. So anyway, he's going to be in town. He's going to be paying tribute to Doc Watson, as who passed away here in the last year or so, and paying tribute to Doc Watson at the Paramount Theater, and that's coming up May 4th.
It certainly is a big weekend, the same weekend as the Hillbilly Hike, so we have lots going on that weekend.
Lots.
Take in as much as you can.
That's exactly right.
Share it with your friends.
That's exactly right.
We want everybody to know there's lots going on
Oh,
in
yeah,
our community.
there's a whole lot going on in our community.
Always.
And if you happen to know an Australian, you know anybody from Australia?
Yeah.
Do you really?
One or two.
Today is Hug an Australian Day.
Well, if we see them, we have to give them a hug.
There you go. You have to. I mean, it's right
That's
here.
a rule.
It's yeah, Hug an Australian Day. Today is also Richter Scale Day. So if you have a Richter, weigh it.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay. It's a Richter Scale Day. It's also Union Day in Tanzania. So if you belong to a union, they want you in Tanzania.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, yeah, mine too. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Anything that relates to the United States of
Nothing at
America.
all. I don't know anything. I know nothing except it is Richter Scale Day.
All righty then.
Okay.
Good answer to the trivia.
Oh, yeah, the answer to today's trivia
Yes,
question.
please tell us.
What was the question? Oh, yes.
It was, you know what it was.
5 surnames. Last names have all been shared, by U.S. presidents. 5 names. There were 2 Adamses. There were 2.
No, not that one. We've already answered that one, haven't we? This
No.
is the.
I don't know if you answered it, but you had.
Well, you can answer that one too. I believe this one was what was divisible.
This is the number, but answer
Yeah.
that one.
Oh, that's right.
I don't
Okay.
think you answered that one either.
Okay.
Well, that's
I
right.
didn't ask. Okay. The 5 surnames. 2 Bushes, 2 Adams, 2 Roosevelts, 2 Harrisons, and 2 Johnsons.
Johnson. That's kind of like
Andrew and
Smith.
LBJ.
Okay, that's kind of like Smith.
Yeah, kind of like Smith. Okay. The only number
Yes.
where the name of that number is in alphabetical order is the number 40.
40.
F-O-R-T-Y. In
And it's in the
alphabetical
correct
sequence.
order.
That's right. There are no other numbers.
No, good job, Wayne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take your bow.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Mine too. Okay.
I believe we are done for the day.
Oh, yeah. Turn me over. Yes, I am done. Yeah. Anyway, we're done, and we'll be back tomorrow morning, or Monday morning, I should say,
That's
at 7
right.
a.m. Monday at 7, then it repeats at noon, at 5:30, and then again on in later into the evening. And
But
if you can't
enjoy
catch us-
your weekend. We
Yes.
have so many things happening.
I'm
Get out
sorry.
of that house, off that sofa. If
Please.
you can, enjoy things happening in this beautiful spring weather.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend, so get out and do something. All right, it's going to be a lot going on, including the Pickle Festival in Mount Olive.
That's right.
Is
Don't
this
miss
weekend.
it.
I'm
North
telling you,
Carolina
it's gonna
Pickle
be-
Festival.
And we'll have some video for you next week about
Yes, we
that.
will.
All right, so anyway, until Monday morning, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.